Hi and welcome to ECCB Connects, a program produced by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank to share with you who we are, what we do, and how we serve you. On this episode, we take you to the recently concluded 7th Growth and Resilience Dialogue for some insight into the interesting world of artificial intelligence, or AI. Stay with us for the details of this informative presentation after this message. Thanks for staying connected. More and more, the conversation about artificial intelligence is being advanced. AI is a term used to refer to computer applications that perform complex tasks that once require human input. Companies are making significant investments into this technology for obvious reasons. At the 7th Growth and Resilience Dialogue, Richie Etwaru, co-founder of Mobius USA, a company which delivers frictionless technology, took the audience into the world of AI and its possibilities. We're pleased to share with you excerpts of his captivating presentation.
Look, everybody's talking about ChatGPT. It's interesting, it's strong, you can see what it will do. We know that the access to knowledge has now become democratized, right? Our generation is probably the last generation of people that will say, I don't know. From here onwards, it's going to be really hard to get by with I don't know, because knowledge is just going to be so accessible. You're going to be able to get it very easily. And the tasks of the knowledge worker are being rapidly automated, whether it's putting together a proposal, making a piece of advertising or anything like that. These generative AIs are going to automate the tasks of the knowledge worker the same way how the motor automated the tasks of the manual worker. Now, the other thing that's going on at the same time is we also know that now we can be productive without having to be physically in the same place together. And we heard a lot of talk about how the pandemic kind of, introduced us to telemedicine and remote medicine, et cetera. And the aperture of what can be transferred between us is expanding exponentially. Here you're seeing me and my PowerPoint slides at the same time. My hands can come up in the air. I can take my hands in the air and start to draw around this and erase it if I want. These things are starting to transfer more between each other. We're now able to transfer a lot more than a set of numbers through the screen. So if you think about where we are from a technological perspective, you've got generative AI that is sort of, attacking the knowledge worker and automating what's going on with the knowledge worker here. And you've got these immersive technologies that are opening up this aperture for the visionary worker. And I'll tell you what I think is happening over here. What I think is happening over here is that we're going to go from sharing information to sharing ideas to then sharing our imagination. Right now, if you do a screen share, over Zoom or Teams, you can share your slides. You can share a lot more over here. And if you think about knowledge work and where knowledge work is, it's like, send an Excel file, right? Send an email, send a PowerPoint, send me a screenshot of a report somewhere. That work is going to get automated, and we're going to have to move up the stack and use our creativity to imagine new ideas, to come up with more visionary thinking, and we're going to exchange them with each other remotely. So the aperture of what has to be transitioned between these screens will have to improve. Now, I know that there are technologies out there that can help you transfer more information between one human and another. AR, VR, XR, all of these things that require you to put on a headset to be able to transfer more information are setting up for the visionary work economy. I'm going to introduce to you today something new. So we've got generative AI on one hand. I'm happy to take questions about it. I'm happy to answer anything that you have about it. I want to introduce you to immersive AI. What immersive AI does is it increases the aperture of what can be transferred between the screen so that we can go from just transferring information to transferring our imagination. I'm going to get out of PowerPoint here, and I'm going to go into a demo. So I'm going to fire up our Airglass 2 technology, and I'm going to wait for it to start to come to life. So a couple of things you'll notice. First thing you'll notice is that this screen is reacting to my face immediately. If I lean forward, everything looks bigger. If I lean back, everything gets smaller. Now you guys are seeing my experience of this, so you are not getting the depth experience that I'm getting, but I'm going to show it to you, and hopefully you'll be able to get a sense of it. Now, I am in a virtual room here. Now, I'm also in a physical room here, but I'm in a virtual room over there. The first thing you're going to notice, and there's no hardware on me. There's no hardware on my Mac. This is just my Mac. This is immersive AI. The first thing you're going to notice is that if I lean in, it gets closer, and if I lean back, it gets further away. And this is giving me this closer relationship with the computer. Now, I can usually have other people inside of here, and we can start to interact together. I'm going to show you some really cool things in a second. This immersive AI is allowing us to transfer more between each other. Just think about remote medicine or telemedicine or education or commerce. If you can start to feel like you're actually there when you look at the computer screen. Now, my hands are also activated. As you saw before, I can, draw in the air with my hands. I'm just using my fingers here to draw in the air. This is computer vision AI and natural language processing used with machine learning and the natural user interface to create this. If I lean in, the ink is there. If I lean to the side, you'll notice that I kind of drew into the depth with the technology. Now my hands are also activated. Let me turn up the volume here. This is playing some random guitar notes as I hit each of the sides of this thing. This is a completely immersive experience with this particular screen. Now I'm going to instruct it to put up some use cases here so I can show you some use cases. Just as I pull up these showcases of different use cases, whether it's collaboration now, that's more immersive and interactive, hospitality, I'll show you something really cool in healthcare, entertainment, education showcase. You can notice that as my hand moves around, I have the experience of hovering over these things on the screen without using the mouse or the keyboard. So from a collaboration perspective, let me just pull up a collaboration example. Here I am in a simple room. I'll just pull down the video here so you can see this. This is just a three-dimensional room that I'm looking around, right? I'm going to instruct it to pull up my slides in here. Let's say I was doing my slide presentation in here. Same thing. As I move my hands around, I can now start to interact with these objects. I can transfer more meaning over the screen as opposed to just sharing an Excel file. If I want to actually bring this slide to life, I make a fist. You'll notice that the slide went green, and I pull my fist forward, and it pulls the slide forward for me. I'll show you that again. I'll grab it, push it back, open here, grab it, pull it forward, full Minority Report, right? Now I can lean in and focus on it. You can see what I'm looking at. If I want to change the slides, I put my hands up, make a fist, and open it. The slide will change. If I want to swipe in the air, I put my hands on the side and boom, right? Changes the slide. I can draw in here. This is new immersive AI technology that has been built to increase the aperture of what we can transfer between each other on these screens. Let me show you a healthcare example. So this is a regular lab inside, right? Something looks like a futuristic healthcare lab. Here we've integrated not just the room and the objects, but data. So up here, this is a Salesforce CRM record. Imagine a sales rep and a doctor having a conversation about a drug now. And so the sales rep's on one side, the doctor's on the other side. I'm the only one in here right now. I grab the CRM record, I pull it up. There it is. I can look in, you can see me. and the record at the same time. Maybe I want to talk about the drug. I put my hand and I swipe to the side and the drug shows up. Or, maybe I want to pull up the molecule structure, or maybe this is something about a heart. This is a 3D model of a beating heart that's here in the air in front of me. I can grab my hands and spin this heart as I see fit. I'm just holding the heart in the air. You can see my fist there. I'm opening it. I can lean in and look into that artery, if that's what I'm interested in, and do things like that. Let me show you one more example. Maybe I'll show you a showcase in entertainment. Let me go to a showcase. For those in the room who like bags, right? This is a bag. I can put my hands up in the air and spin it around as I see fit. I can put two hands up in the air and start to turn my perspective. You guys are getting a good reflection now of what I'm seeing here in the air. Imagine in the future how our kids are going to exchange information with each other. They're not just going to share Excel files and share PowerPoint files. This is something we're working on with an airline. I'm using my hands to just spin this engine in the air. I can open it, I can lean forward, I can look into things. This is where we see the future of work going. I want to show you this entertainment example. Anybody here who has kids, this is a scene from Finding Nemo. I'm going to turn on my reflector so you can see what I'm actually doing here. This is a scene from the movie that's playing on my Mac. There's no hardware on my Mac. This is just immersive AI. And if I lean in, I can see the fishes as they're swimming. If I lean out, I can see them move away. If I put my hands up in the air, I can spin the perspective of this movie of what I'm actually seeing at the same time. I can zoom out a little bit, see a little bit more of the ocean, zoom in a little bit, see a little bit more of that, use my head. I'm going to find, there's Nemo right there. Boom. Okay. You can plot flight paths in here. So if I lean to the side, for example, and I lean forward, what I'm on now is on a flight path in this movie. You'll notice that it's spinning without me moving my head. I'll put my hands up in the air and I'm going to start to draw in the air in 3D, in this 3D movie while it's actually playing, to show you the power of this immersive AI technology. Now think about teaching calculus with this type of technology, where you can engage with the formula with your hands and students can change the variables on the other side. Think about remote education. Think about remote healthcare. Think about e-commerce on a website. This runs on webs, runs on apps, and runs on media at the same time. Here now I'm going to take my hands and just spin this entire environment. So I just drew inside of a 3D movie while it was playing. Now you're not going to sell more goldfishes with this, but I just wanted to show you the power of the technology. So I will get out of here and I will go back to my slides for a second. And I'll go back one slide. Welcome back to the present. This is what I think is happening with AI. Thank you. Thank you. This is what I think is happening with AI. Generative AI is cannibalizing knowledge work. And something has to arrive for us to become visionary workers. If you think about all the stuff with the creator economy right now, right? To me, the creator economy of people who are making short videos on TikTok or making interesting things with generative AI, that kind of work is not the work that we're going to do 20 years from now. I'm going to be able to go, hey, I have an idea. And I'm going to be able to send my imagination of that idea through this screen with something, and you're going to engage with it and go, I see exactly your idea, Richie. What we're doing today with the creator economy is equivalent to what we started to do when there was typing school, right? When you had to learn how to operate the typewriter and the keyboard at the beginning of knowledge work. So over the next 3 to 5 decades, I see us moving from knowledge workers to visionary workers. And in order for that to happen, the aperture of what we transfer between each other is going to have to expand, because we're going to have to move a lot more than just static information. Now, whether that's with a headset or not, will have to be seen. Immersive AI is a software path to immersive and interactive experiences. We're doing pilots with Fortune 500 companies already. And I just want to close before we take questions to just recap here. We are transitioning from knowledge workers to visionary workers. I feel as nervous about my kids' ability to get jobs. My boys are 5 and 3. Just how my parents and grandparents felt nervous about me getting jobs when I told them I didn't want to learn a trade or a craft. But because I sit in the technology, I understand that we will be able to advance what we do to be able to withstand the commoditization that's happening by innovation and do more meaningful, more satisfactory work. Now, I've given this presentation before, and people would say to me, Richie, come on, how are we going to do that? Like, I could barely get by with knowledge work right now. How are we going to get to visionary work? And I would remind us all that the average human is using about 3 to 5% of our brain. And that wasn't always the case. At one point, it was at 0.01. We used to grunt at each other at one point. So this thing is moving up, and I would say that we got a lot of headroom to go. I think that the human species is just starting to understand how the brain even works. And I think that we're going to be able to move up the stack, and we're going to be able to become the visionary workers that we're going to have to be in the new economy to come. We're transitioning from sharing information to sharing our imagination. And as we think about technology, I believe that we have to understand that this technological change that's coming is not sudden. We're not the unlucky generation, right, that are suddenly having to be burdened with this. This was constant. We have been increasing the aperture of what we can share with each other for a long time. At one point, the main way you could share information was through a mailbox, right, and telegrams. So that aperture has been increasing and increasing and increasing, and I see it happening. I think we're going to transition from information technology to imagination technology.
Celebrating ECCB at 40.
Did you know that the first governor of the ECCB was Sir Cecil Jacobs, National of St. Christopher, St. Kitts and Nevis, who served in that capacity from 1983 to 1989? Now you know. Celebrating ECCB at 40.
We've come to the end of this episode of ECCB Connects. Thank you for watching. We trust that you found it to be quite interesting. Be sure to connect with us next week for another program where we'll share with you who we are, what we do, and how we serve you.